So these are two plate forms I did. The larger one for the, well, I was hoping to make a dinner plate, but it turns out that this one is about 9 inches across, makes a very small dinner plate. So I need a larger bat for the wheel to create bigger dinner plate ones. This one is the salad or bread plate, and this one's better. Okay, so let me tell you what's wrong with this form and what's right with this form. So if you put a pencil here and you look at the edge, you could see that this dips down here and it dips down again out here. You want a straight edge for your plate form. And that way, if you leave your plate on it a little too long and it starts to dry and shrink, your plate doesn't crack. The cracks always seem to end up right around in here. So anyway, take your rib tool when you're throwing this on the wheel and hold it flat down against this and get that straight line all the way around. Now, this one's better. As you can see, it's pretty flush against where the pencil is. The only problem is I took this slope straight down all the way to the bat. What I want you to do when you cut yours to make a better one, and what I just did in the following video you're going to see next, I cut straight down here, straight. So it straight ring, so I've allowed for a foot. Let me show you what the cross section might look like of a good one. So, say this is your ring, and you can see the inside section, and here's your bat down here, and your bat around the edge. Okay, that's your ring. Okay, if you were to cut it right here, say you had a knife, and you cut right through this side. Okay, here's what the side of your ring should look like. Slope down, straight down to the bat here, just like that. Do not curve back down here or the plate breaks. And don't curve here because then you don't have a clear delineated place to mark where you want the foot of your plate to go. So if your plate's in there, say you've dropped your like a piece of clay, roll out a piece of clay onto it and you drop it down into the form. And then you let that plate dry a little bit. That's your plate. Okay, you let it dry on the form a little bit. It starts to shrink, feels sturdy. You can flip it over then and then put it on the wheel again and center it, and then you can cut out some of that foot. So that's a cross-section view. And that will make you a beautiful dinner plate that you can repeat over and over again. So you'll put your flat piece of clay that you roll out a big old piece of clay with your rolling pin, or if you have one of those slab roller deals, roll out a piece of clay. You can cut it in a circle or not, if it's irregular, whatever. Drop it on top of this thing, gently push it down into the form. And then I adhere this whole ring. I drop this whole ring on the wheel and I mount it with some sausages of clay. Like I stick sausages of clay onto the bat and I hook it on with a round piece of canvas underneath it, okay? And that slab of clay over top. And then I just cut away all the excess around it, press it down into that form. So there's your slabby piece here laid down. Your big slab of clay is laid down on top of your form, and you cut away the excess, press it down, and then when I spin it on the wheel, I take a sponge first and I smooth it really good onto that form. And then I take my finger and I do a lovely spiral, pull a spiral down the center. And that way you're gonna get a pretty plate. And now I will show you one of my plates. Here's the plate form that I used to make this plate. See how much it shrank? It shrinks a huge amount. Plus, I cut away, I actually trimmed it down about to here when I did it. But I'm not planning on doing that in the future. I'm planning on taking it right up to the edge of the form. That way they're more uniform. But here's what I talked about, the spiral I did with my finger. I just slowly wet my finger and just slowly pulled away and let that spiral happen. When it was leather hard, it's wet because I had to pull it out of the dishwasher and wash it so I can show it to you. When it was leather hard and it was it was firm enough that the bottom wasn't gonna bend in too much. I trimmed out the foot, and I made this little spiral. So here's my foot. This is jet black. What's that called? Jet black underglaze. So it's kind of like almost a slightly shiny matte finish at cone 6. Okay, and this is blue rutile from Amico, if you're wondering. Okay, so gotta get it centered. Yeah, my wheel's acting a little funny. It's slowing down and speeding up on its own, and I figure because it used to live on my porch, you know, under an overhang, but it was still exposed to some weather. So I think maybe it got a little too humid inside the motor. If you scrape off your board right after centering, makes cleanup easier later. You can't probably hear that. My chicken just laid an egg. I just pull out. You can take your ring down lower. Oh, got a bubble. Uh-oh. Now that's what you don't want to happen. My whole ring came loose from the wheel. It's too wet, so you got to be careful of that. There we go. That should be good and stuck. So here we go. When it's wet, you can see where the flat edge didn't hit. So you can just push down a little more where it's still shiny. And when it goes dull, you know you've touched every area. Okay, that's really nice. Okay, now I need more foot here. There we go, beautiful. And continue to pull that flat edge down. I keep cleaning up the messy pieces. So it's my opinion that there's really no cheating. You know, you're like, oh, a hand-thrown plate can't be done on a form. Why not? Why can't you do what you want? If you want your plates to match, a form's maybe the best way to go. Hey, it's looking really good. I don't know why, but I'm leaking down here on the floor. Hands leaking. Okay. Let's continue to clean it up. I'm actually looking for a pretty good level of perfection on this thing. They sell forms, you know, slumping forms for dinner plates that you can actually mount to your wheel. They're really expensive, and you've got all the skills to make your own, so just do it yourself. Then you get exactly what you want and not what everybody else Your plate won't look like anybody else's plate. Looks really good. I'm continuing to trim and clean. And what I'm going to do is at this stage, I'm going to give it one more little edge here, and then I'm going to let it go to leather hard. Just clean up the wetness. We got to let this dry to leather hard while it's on the bat. It has to mostly dry on the bat, and then I've got to separate it from the bat, which is going to be a trick. Thanks for watching, you guys. I appreciate your comments, and let me know if there's anything I can improve. Thank you. Bye.